Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you to Franchise CXO Dialogue. This series involves learning from thought leaders at leading franchise organizations. Hope you all are keeping safe and healthy. My name is Ashita Marya, and I'm the CEO of Franchise India. We have some ground rules for the attendees, and during that, if they wish to ask any questions, you can post it in Q&A section. We take it up one by one. And now I'm very excited to welcome Mr. Ajay Menon, Director and CEO, Motilal Oswal Financial Services Limited. With over 22 years of vast experience in Indian capital market, he joined the group in 1998 as an accounts manager. Under his leadership, many crucial initiatives took shape, like tie-up with banks, training initiatives for business partners, and launch of raw advisory products. Motilal Oswal Financial Services Limited is a reputed financial services group with businesses encompassing broking, distribution, institutional equities, investment banking, private equity, wealth management, asset management, and home finance. It has over 30 years of capital market experience with more than 10 lakh registered customers. It credits its focus on user experience and franchise-friendly strategies behind the growth. It offers a business partner application to franchisees to keep a tab on the business processes and latest developments through mobiles. They have about 2,000 franchise partners across 500 cities in India. We also have Mr. Gaurav Maurya with us, who's an absolute authority on franchising. So I would like to, a very warm welcome to both of you. And I would like to start with Mr. Menon. Mr. Menon, I absolutely love Peter Drucker's phrase, where he says that culture eats strategy for breakfast. And I feel it's an absolute reality. And they say that any company disconnecting the two are putting their success at risk. So just don't leave it unattended. So how much culture is important to you, and what do you represent and stand for?
Good morning, friends. Good morning, Gaurav, Ashita. Thank you for inviting me to the session. Really happy to be here and give my views. Coming to your question, Ashita, I think culture, I think it's the crux of any business, anything which you want to do. The culture has to be something where you work upon and build it up. And we at Motilal Oswal have been very happy to see the way we have been able to build the culture across our group when it comes to our company, from the promoters, Mr. Oswal and Mr. Ramdev Agarwal. They got into the culture from day one of how to look at investing from a customer's perspective. And the customer should be the first focal point when you look at investments and advisory. And from there came the franchisee, or that when we started off, it was sub-brokers. So the whole culture was about how we can have more and more people who can take our culture to the ground so that we get the end customer to get engaged with us in a way which will be a win-win model. And at the end of the day, the customer sees the benefit of our advice and research. So imbibing that from day one, we have gone with a culture of learning, knowledge, and that is how this solid research, solid advice came a part of our whole ecosystem. And that is how we have built the culture in the organization and across our franchisees. So when you look at the way we have built the network, it has always been through the training and how we can help them grow the business. And in turn, how we grow the entire business model. So the culture has been about building growth, building knowledge, building the research capabilities, because this is a knowledge industry. And unless you are able to keep learning and keep building this kind of learning culture, you will not be able to help the customers in the investment domain. And you would appreciate that the last 20-30 years, the way the whole economy has changed, the dynamics of this whole country has changed. And this can only be continuously imparted through the culture of learning and knowledge. That's how we have been able to do it.
Absolutely. And especially when you run up enterprise, and I have closely worked with your your enterprise and known you, Ajay. So I think the kind of work you've done in financial services and the kind of, as you said, coming from the founders themselves, both Motilal ji and Ramdev, I think a phenomenal example of what they live every day basis and lead from the front end, and their relationship management, I think, with all their employees and also their franchisees have been exceptional, and that has been actually part of, and then your journey yourself has been in actually passing that same vision back to the network and so on and so forth. So I should congratulate you for leading the way. Ashita, your next questions.
Yeah. So, I understand that, the strategy is for growth and knowledge and learning, and it gets imparted within the franchisees, and it's deep rooted. So there's one more thing that, one of my friends recommended me to read a book. It's called The Innovator's Dilemma by Clayton Christensen. It's a modern classic. While the focus is on innovation, and the author suggests abandoning traditional business practices. So one traditional practices that says is plain a consumer service, and yet consumer service and experience alone won't keep you bulletproof from these so-called disruptors which are inside and outside of your industry. Right. So what's your take on both, the innovation as well as the consumer experience?
See, I would put it this way that this is a dynamic world, no doubt about it. So when you talk about customer experience, when you talk about innovation, it is a continuous journey. What worked yesterday may not work today, and what is working today may not work tomorrow. As simple as that. But the best part is that it's a continuous learning, and that is where, from a traditional broking house, how we have built the research advice in the completely latest way through the digital model, and the way the customer experiences have changed from a normal traditional, if you look at the 2000 market, when there was physical delivery of shares, from a completely 100% digital model, the whole ecosystem has changed. But at the end of the day, the focus is always upon investing, right? So the investing has not changed. Investing has changed. It has become bigger. It has become much more dynamic. But finally, the way you do the thing has changed completely. So from a physical market to a completely digital kind of market, from a technology which was never existent to 100% technology today. Now technology also from a completely trading platform to now into mobile, now into web. So the different aspects of the way the things have changed. So it has gone through a sea change. So innovation has been a part and parcel of the whole model. And we have tried to imbibe it in whichever model of the business we are doing, and whatever way we are able to take it forward. So coming to specifically in our business, whether it was the technology, earlier it was research and advice, solid research, solid advice. Then we built the technological base on that. So it was solid technology across all our products, whether it is the trading platform, whether it is the mobile, whether it is the app. So that has been built now. And similarly, when it comes to even research, it is not only the traditional research. Now it is all about products. It is all about different kinds of ready-made products which can be given to the customers, which they can look at. It can be about mutual funds. It can be about PMS, about real estate funds, about private equity. So the dynamics have changed from a typical equity markets to across platforms and across different products. So innovation has been the key, and I think it will always continue to change the whole dynamics. Just the last 100 days, the way the business model has changed itself has been a completely different experience. And I'm sure all our franchisees have seen the benefit of imbibing the technology to take their business to a very different levels. We are looking at peak volumes, all-time high volumes for us, for the company as such, and even for the industry. And this has only been possible by using technology, because 95% of our people are still working from home. But the business is going as usual. So all our franchisees have been able to build their trust and relationship with the technological edge to give the best service to their customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think
Great.
rightly said. And I remember in 2005 actually, when you insisted on shifting the model from traditional broking house to wealth management. And you were one of the early companies which actually set the way for financial services organizations that how wealth management would become a very important part of it. And that also started changing the way, consumers were investing. They were absolutely, and this creates a new emergence of people to look at a new products, and then subsequently when the real estate fund came in, a lot of other asset classes start coming in. And I think future is even more going to be higher in terms of various types of products and different needs of people, short-term investment, long-term investment cycles, and so on and so forth. And I think even the communication from your company has been very, very consistent, and people have seen these billboards, and everything has been very clearly running around the knowledge base as a structure rather than just being a propaganda marketing of driving investment. So that's, I think, a big innovation and always leading from.
Now we are running a campaign about the phygital way of doing business. We are saying that digital is important and the physical is also important. It is not one can cater to the other. It has to be a mix of both. So we are talking about a phygital way of doing business where the technology takes care of the execution, but the physical side is important to build the relationship, to build the trust, to get the conviction to the people, which is also very important when you're into investing. And when the emotional connect is also important. So we say that you can do the business, you can do the execution digitally, but you can also talk to the advisor, get the conviction, meet us at our physical locations, because we have got offices across 500 cities. So you can gel the best of both the worlds.
Correct. Good term. Digital. Yeah. Very interesting. Aishta, over to you.
Yeah, so that's a good takeaway for doing the business the phygital way. That's very interesting. Coming on to the next thing, as businesses and society continue to transition towards sustainable development and corporate social responsibility, and the key challenge faced is in rethinking the philosophy of management and business ethics to achieve this change in deep and lasting ways. So what steps you as a part of Motilal Oswal has taken in this particular direction?
So from a overall CSR perspective, our promoters and the company has always been upfront in our CSR activities. We have a foundation by the name of Motilal Oswal Foundation. We do a lot of activities, mainly onto schools, building. We have built a school also, and a lot of things into education. So there is a huge thrust on, again, education as a premise on the MO Foundation. And we also built a hostel for Mr. Oswal and Mr. Ramdev. Both are chartered accountants, and they came from the normal CA faculty. So they have built a hostel for chartered accountants, for the learning people who are learning chartered accountancy in Mumbai. So that is where they were studying earlier. So the hostel has been built. And similarly, we do a lot of activities. Even this COVID times, we have spent a lot of money on for the COVID activities, be it to the Prime Minister's Fund, to the Chief Minister's Fund, plus a lot of charitable activities. So that's a part of the culture, the CSR activities, and we keep doing that on a big way to increase the knowledge curve as from the schooling level, and we also build onto some kind of universities where we are investing on.
Okay, that's commendable. I mean, coming from where you are and supporting the same community really helps. So coming to the next thing now. In past about 2 decades, we've seen the companies when they, grow older, whether the size of a company is a mid-size or a large-sized organization, they need to design their change management strategies, for themselves, their partners, as well as for their consumers. So what is, from your perspective, has gone into changing the products, processes, and priorities, which is, in your case, of course, it would be consumers. So would like to just take it one by one. So in products, first, say, so what are the changes?
Can you repeat? Your voice is a little cracking. I'm not able to hear you.
Take up Ashita's question. Ashita is trying to say is that, this is a long journey you have, and your friends also have been there for a very, very long period. And in these, when you run a franchise network, when you run your own company, you can quickly change structure. When you run a franchise network, the franchisee is sometimes adverse to change.
Right.
And we all know that now the change is faster than ever happening.
Right.
So our products are changing, our processes are changing, our priorities are changing. Even you tell a franchisee to put up a small new capex to run that, he doesn't want to do that. So how you have managed that change, and a little bit on how your profiling of a franchisee has changed. What used to be, because we know all the conventional brokers who were there, and now I see a lot of young people joining the industry and becoming partners. A lot of people shifting their from their whatever careers they are to become partners in your industry. What is that change cycle? How you maintain that change cycle? And what is a little bit happening on the profiling of franchise?
Right. So, as I told you that we have got a strong network of more than 2,000 franchisees across 500 cities. So, when we look at empaneling a franchisee into our fold, into the brand, we are very focused to ensure that the brand is taken care of. So we would like to have people who are very focused into this business and want to grow. It's not about, unless he has got time and the flair to grow, we would not like to associate with him, frankly. And the moment he shows that I want to build a very strong model and I want to spend his own time into the business, he has got time to build into the business, then we are very clear about how we can build it up. Because we talk about our research, we talk about our solid advice model. Along with that, there is comprehensive business development initiatives which we take to help him grow. There is strong mentorship and senior management involvement to help him build the business along with the technology and products. So when you talk about the business development initiatives, we talk about dedicated onboarding desk, well-defined process, the knowledge support for building the systems and processes, time-bound approach to getting him grow. So also helping him in his staff recruitment, the trainings for him, the best practices from the HR perspective. So these kind of business development initiatives we look at. We help him in client acquisition, local marketing, doing regional business development workshops, networking with all our partners. So there is a marketing connect program. So there is a lot of initiatives coming from a business development perspective. We also have a separate platform, a mobile app for him where he can take care of his business in one go. On this app, he can see his entire business in one shot. We help him in building his complete business through digital account opening. He doesn't require any kind of physical presence. He can get his client's account open completely digitally. So there is a lot of initiatives which we ensure that helps him grow. We get him insights from the industry experts. We have expos where we call all the top franchisees. We have an awards night annually. So these are all the ways we help him connect with the whole ecosystem and help him grow from a business perspective. Along with that, there is the product suite. We have got a lot of products aligned to him, whether it is from a technical trading side, from a fundamental research, whether it is portfolio restructuring, whether it is advice. So we help him on the product suite. And it is not only about equity. We have about equity broking. It's about mutual funds. It's about PMS, fixed income products, alternate assets, whether it is private equity, the AIFs. Along with that, we also have commodity, currency. So he's got a combination of products which he can sell. on our platform. Along with that, as I explained, we have the technology base which will help him grow the whole model. Whether it is for the investors, we have got an investor platform, we have got a trader platform. We also have complete smartwatch where you can operate the whole. He can look at his business. The client can look at his business. Along with that, the research, which is a daily update, a fundamental update. We have thematic reports. We have wealth creation study, which Mr. Ramdev is running for the last 25 years. The India strategy report. Even in these kind of terms, we come out with our exclusive reports on industry, on India strategy. So that gives him complete the knowledge curve, along with the back-end support, which is surely the minimum thing which is required from back-end. And the best part is now we also have helped people who are not known to this industry and they want to learn this industry. We have come out with the latest program, which is called Unnati, where we help them to understand the market. We give them a complete background of the Indian macros, the financial services industry, the opportunities in this broking and distribution, the dynamics of technology, the way we are building it, and finally, how to manage and run a profitable business, so that at the end of the day, he has to earn profits so that he can scale up further. So we help him build a very scalable business model and help him grow the business. So all in all, it's not only about one size fits all, it's about an ecosystem which is being built to help him grow. That is how we look at it.
And absolutely, and I think all mature companies, especially I've seen in your enterprise, but they divide their entire cycle of a franchisee into what we call the early stage, dependent stage, where
Right.
the dependent you need to do a lot of handholding, and then you have a interdependent state where you know something but you still don't know something, and then you get an independent stage. And independent stage is best managed by what you said is ERR, which is how do you continue to encourage, recognize, and reward partners. And then their stickiness with the brand, they start giving and believing in the brand becomes very, very high. And I know you have a lot of franchisees who've been there with you for years and years, and I think they've also equally in their own right become institutions,
Right.
and carried the brand next level. Another very big thing which I've actually seen, which is missing in a lot of other organizations, which I think has been a foundation of Motilal, I should share with you. Because the franchising is always about a owner managing a owner.
Right.
So also is an owner. He's not an employee. So fundamentally is that relationship can only come with a lot of grounded values, which sometimes a lot of other financial services I have seen, which are sometimes very corporate run, and they don't have that human value system,
Right.
which, and I think anytime I've met Motilal ji or I've met Mr. Ramdev, I think the kind of value system they bring in is a very strong, and they're very grounded. And that also reflects in the entire organization, reflects with, say, you as a leadership team with the entire things. It reflects on there. And that really is much bigger value system for a franchisee. After some time, I feel that everybody has the same product.
Right.
But it's all about the relationship, which would make a big difference.
So we talk about, frankly, the relationship, the research. These are the two R's. Advice is the A, that is which we talk about. And finally, it is about the trust, the training, and latest, how the technology can scale up the business.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And on technology,
Right.
Abhay has asked a question, is this artificial intelligence also coming in the business for you? I mean, it's giving a lot of testable data?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens is that now with the amount of data which we have, with the base of customers, we can churn in a lot of data analytics to get the kind of mix of which customer wants what. So it's that every customer has his own needs. So automatically we have an advisory dashboard where we tell the franchisee which customer would like to do what. Say one client has an Infosys in his portfolio, and somebody else has got say ACC. So if I got an idea on Infosys, so you should call this customer rather than any other customer. So we go into that level of data. So which idea will suit which kind of customer, which product will suit which kind of customer based on his past experience and based on his portfolio size. We are trying to give them more intelligent data so that they can touch the right kind of clients and get the best benefit out of it. Because it's not easy to touch base all your customers for everything. It's not that one size fits all. So you have to customize based on the client's requirements, and that is how this database is helping us to give them the best of both worlds.
Absolutely. Ashta, over to you. Your questions.
Yeah. So that's very interesting. I am still to figure out what does this research and training, and I'll probably speak to you after that as to what those words are that you manage your franchisees with. And so once we know that understandably these past 100 days, and you just said that they've not been that bad for Motilal Oswal. But if you can elaborate a bit on it as to how has it impacted the company or the franchisees?
Ajay has not said it is bad. He says rather it is what's growth.
So,
yes.
Actually, it has been challenging for all of us. I'm sure nobody has even imagined this. We say it's a completely VUCA world. VUCA means volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous.
Yeah, very nice.
It's a complete VUCA world, and nobody would have imagined, say, in a December, that we were going to go through this in the next 3 months' time. But the best part is that you have to always look at the positive side. You can keep thinking negative, but there's no end to it. And unless you think positive, you're not going to go forward. So frankly, March, when we thought that now this is up onto us, and how do we take it forward? So immediately, within a week's time, we could get all our people onto their houses and start connecting with the customers, as it was when it was in office. Surely, SEBI and the exchanges also help us in ensuring that the compliances and all can be met in a much more different way, sitting at home. Basically, we know that this has been a tough time for different kind of economies, whether it is the aviation industry or the discretionary spend. There's a lot of problems in those industries. But surely, now that this has come out and we are out of the lockdown, things are looking different, and I'm sure things are picking up very fast. If I look at even last 2 weeks data. But for us, what has happened is that in the last 3 months, because people were sitting at home, I think they had more time, and we had the huge influx of new customers coming into the market. So we had the highest number of new customers coming in. We broke all records. We had maximum new customers joining us. At the same time, the volumes also started peaking. So this can be only for 2 reasons. One is that people were free and they were coming into the market. They wanted to try their luck into trading. At the same time, investing, looking at the valuations. So when the markets were at its low of 7,500, there was quite a lot of interest into finding good quality stocks to invest into. And as you see today, the Sensex is at, the Nifty is at around 10,500 levels, which is almost 40% high from its low. So business during this period has gone up to the extent of even 50% on particular days. It's gone by more than 50%. So volumes are at all its high. And the best part is that we have been able to see through all this sitting at home. So although it has been a hectic time sitting at home, working for 12 to 18 hours, day in, day out, being on Zoom, being on laptops, but no complaints when we look at the overall business. So from our business angle, it has been a good time. But surely, I think from the economic perspective, still there is time to, we see that this can be a tough time from the economy to recover. And surely, as you must have seen, there's a lot of predictions that the GDP will be negative for the year and the growth will be very low. But good thing is that things can only become better. and we see that that will help in the way we look at markets. And India has been a growth market, and we are always supply driven, and we think that in the times to come, the Indian economy will surely what its entire GDP has been for the last 70 years. It should in the next 10 years make the same amount of add to its GDP. So it's going to be a huge inflow going forward. So look at the positive side. And even now, when I look at the penetration into the stock markets, it is very less. It's only 0.03% in demat accounts. We don't have more than a crore, 2 crores accounts even today. So penetration is still high. When I look at India compared to the developed economies, we are still a long way to go. India just 5% of their savings are invested into equity markets, whereas it is 15% for Brazil or 40% for US. So there is huge scope to grow. So I always look at it from a positive side.
And absolutely, another area which you might have not noticed, and we saw in a lot of our companies and brands, in this lockdown, people also shifted. So whenever you say I was trading with when some local broker and trusted, not with anything. So this shift really was very, very big, and this would be even bigger as you see in next 3 to 4 months. Your franchises are going to benefit because at this stage of uncertainty, people go with only the branded or with the trusted name. They don't go with anybody. So when the markets are not, and I think these independent, which is a very big community out there, very, very big independent communities who have actually moved from earlier days of working with a brand, and they started their own practice and their own name and things like that. And because they were in the physical world, they were able to go to meet the client or shift him with him and things like that. All these independent guys would find it very difficult to survive now, because people would move into a trusted environment. So if you're trading out of your home, you cannot move anybody. You're not going to trust anybody who you don't know.
Actually, we have seen that in a big way. We have also acquired a lot of small brokers, because a lot of small brokers see that it is not possible for them to scale up with the technology base and the compliance standards. So a lot of small brokers have become our franchisees, and they are seeing very good benefit out of it. So automatically, it is helping in a way that they can focus on their strengths, which is their relationship, which is their client base, and they can use our research and our technology to scale up the business. So even in our franchisees, before the lockdown, the penetration digitally was not more than 20-25%. And immediately this happened, and they had no option but to go digital. Now it is more than 60-70%. And they are also happy now, because they can also see now that sitting at home, they can talk to their customers, and the customers can execute digitally. So it's a complete win-win model.
Absolutely. And you will see in next 3 to 5 months, the kind of growth you would see in the franchising. And I've been saying this for some time. One, this conversion franchise, which means that the independent guys would have to convert. There is no other choice. And they would willingly do that because they feel that they will be much more secure when you work in a network. And when you have abilities of network, products come easy, and so on and so forth. And also, products are becoming so big inventory that an independent guy is not at all be able to manage especially in the financial services, because multiple products are coming in, and they need a very structured distribution. So that is one reason. Another area which is very big, which I think, I don't know you have started or not started, I'd like to pick your mind. Whenever this happens, there's a lot of job losses. So today we are looking at about anything upward of 20 million plus people. And these are graduates, educated, a lot of people out there who want to start something for themselves. Job market is not coming back next 1.5 years.
Right.
They have relocated. Some have moved from big city to gone to a smaller city. Now they want to start their own business. Now, white-collared business where you can make money, you can still be associated with a great brand, and it still comes in a low cost. There are not many options. If you really think through, outside a couple of options, there are not many options. What we do in that small money, because they don't have big money, they cannot buy a large business. So I feel that there is a big opportunity coming in front of you to really recruit high quality franchise partners across markets, which are these professionals.
So frankly, we have worked on this in a big way. So rather than the traditional franchisees where they have their own offices and build their old network and they have got a relationship, we have banked upon a model which is called E2E, employee to entrepreneur. So we have touch-based employees who are working and have got experience, but want to enter the entrepreneurial bug. And we give them all the assistance to start their own business, give them the training, give them the advice, give them the ecosystem, so that they can transform themselves from an employee to the entrepreneur. So who have the urge to grow and they see that they're getting stuck in the employment kind of role and there's no scope to grow, we tell them that you come over, your fixed cost, fixed employment cannot give you much more than this. We will give you the model to grow. And we give them the complete ecosystem where he can use our own office to sit and do the business, so he doesn't have a fixed capital cost, and he can build his relationships and bring his customers and use our entire base of technology, of research, of products, and get the whole model scalable. So we are doing that from an employee to entrepreneur. And of late, just before this COVID in December, we came out with a Digi Partner Model. That is a digital partner, where everything will be done digitally. From account opening to execution to products, everything will be managed digitally. He only has to enroll customers, and everything else, his whole business can be managed digitally. And we are calling them a Digi Partner. So we have got different models of franchisee now. A traditional franchisee who has got his own office, an employee to entrepreneur kind of model, plus a Digi Partner model, which is completely digitalized. And also people, and people who don't know the financial industry, there we have come out with a training model which is called the Unnati, where we give them a training on the complete financial models, whether it is the economy, whether it's go ahead.
E2E, we are also doing in E2E. A lot of professionals we are trying to do that. But there is another model you should do, which is called C2E, campus to entrepreneurship. So this year, jobs are not coming. So a lot of campuses have a lot of talent, which are MBA graduates. And so we want to start something. So this can be actually equity market or campus to being an entrepreneur. So it can be another model, C, which can be also done.
That's a good thought. That's a good thought. Absolutely. That is good. That will be good.
Because you see, lakh graduates and so many MBA colleges, so many engineering colleges this year would produce fabulous talent. And this talent, the campuses for reasons would not come in recruitment. So they are also hungry for it. We did a small survey and we found that 70% mentally are thinking doing some entrepreneurial initiative. But they obviously don't have capital. If you empower them, help them maybe run through a 6 months program where they need to run and work on this entire thing, and then they can choose, and maybe a couple of years of being an entrepreneur trading, and then they can take up a job in financial services or any other place.
Absolutely. So that can always help in building this entrepreneurial culture in a big way. So surely look at that, and surely look at employing from the campus and giving.
And this would be a great help because I think most of the institutes would also welcome this thought, because they also need to really see, and organizations like you can make a lot of difference in these young graduates who are coming out.
Right. Good thought. We'll surely look at it.
Ashita, your question?
That's something which is, so that's, quite interesting from E2E and C2E. So, there's a lot of professionals and new kids on the block who have something to look forward to. So having said that, when you've been into franchising for so many years, the company is 30 years old, you've been into the system for about more than 2 decades. What does it take? What are the best practices that you follow to keep these 2,000 franchisees intact, and many more to come, of course, on board? So what best practices do you follow?
I think, as I told earlier, it is more all about the relationship, the trust which we bring to the table so that we can help them grow. So that is the foundation of the whole model, because these are all entrepreneurs. They have got an urge to grow. So where we can build our relationship and build the trust with them, then automatically all the other ecosystem helps them to build the growth model. So what I talked about, the technology, the training, and the research and advice, all comes bundled the moment the relationship and the trust factor is in place. So I think that has been the cornerstone of our growth model. And we have invested onto this model from day one. We have always seen that the franchisee is the emotional connect with the end customer, because when it comes to financial markets, it is all about emotions. So the connect is very important with the end customer. And when it comes to a franchisee, the customer will be much more engaged and the relationship can be much more stronger. Because in a branch model, if the employee leaves, the relationship goes. But in the franchisee model, the franchisee will never leave. So the franchisee will help in building that model in a much more robust manner. And with our kind of model where we help him grow, I think the relationship and trust helps us making this a very solid model for growth when it comes to the overall ecosystem.
Absolutely. I will, because you're running a 2,000 franchisee is not easy. 2,000 franchisees is a very large network. And I know in the industry of financial services, there are a lot of times churn happen, people poach people from one entire thing to keep them engaged, keep them with you. What kind of organizational design you've done? Because a lot of young franchisers also see these webinars we do. A lot of them want to understand. I've seen people who even run 30 or 40 franchisees are not able to sometimes manage the relationships. So a relationship is only one part of it, but day-to-day sport, day-to-day structure. What is your organizational design? Maybe if you want to really put that thought through, that how do you manage?
So what happens is that we have very focused business development people working along with the franchisees first, so that the connect is very clearly aligned with the franchisee of how we are helping him to grow. So unless you have the local connect, it doesn't scale up after a point. So that is very important, to have that local connect with the franchisee, so that he sees that there is a person whom we can connect to. At the same time, how you can make the processes scalable at the head office end or at the central level, so that he doesn't have to be worried about the routine things, which the process will take over, and the technology to support it. So once the technology is there to help him scale the business, so the support of technology and the processes helps him in making his business scalable. The relationship at the local level with the local representative helps him build the trust. And finally, it is all about how we can give him multiple products, because the investor or the customer will require a number of things. He's not going to come to him only for one thing. How we can give him a suite of products which can take care of all the kinds of customer needs, whether it is equity trading, whether it is commodity, whether it is currency, whether it is mutual funds, whether it is fixed deposits, whether it is portfolio management, whether it's restructuring, or when it comes to wealth management. So give him the whole ecosystem of products, so that what the customer wants, he's able to make use of the product suite which you have got. And finally, at the central level, how we are building the brand, so that the brand will give him the visibility. Today, when he talks about Motilal Oswal, he doesn't have to explain Motilal Oswal. People get connected to Motilal Oswal very fast, because the brand is getting built at a central level. So finally, he only has to take care of the service and ensuring that the brand loyalty is kept. So there is where we give him the complete ecosystem. So the brand loyalty, the ecosystem, the trust factor, the products, the processes and the technology, and finally, the training suite, so that he can go and pitch all our products to the customers. So continuous training is built in the whole thing. So you have to have all these pieces in place, so that the franchisee is completely connected with you in the way he's building his complete business.
Yeah, and you would create further specialization, because I think the products are becoming more and more different. And are you creating champions in franchising? Say this person is more focused on that, and maybe it's a so if I was as a customer want to engage with somebody who's a champion on a particular product, is very good on a real estate product, or somebody is now, because of another question Abhay has asked is that a lot of new real estate products are coming in the market, a lot of other products are coming in the market. So these products would be available. So are you thinking or creating some champions and say, this is a very focused channel for that?
So what happens is that, how do you want to look at it is that the franchisee might be, his strength might be in 1 or 2 products. But the way we support him is that we have got business development executives who can help him to go to the customer and sell the other things which the customer wants. So finally, we are looking at it from a customer perspective, that if a customer is interested in real estate, whereas the franchisee is very focused on the equity, so this guy can go and support him and help him sell the real estate thing, so that finally the Motilal Oswal culture is available for him for across all his products. So although the franchisee might be experts in 1 or 2 products, our business development helps him to sell multiple products, so that he doesn't have to say that, no, this I am not doing, you can go somewhere else. So
very helpful, I think.
So we are helping him, give him the suite of products where somewhere he can pitch it himself, somewhere we can help him pitch it.
Absolutely. And most of the time people are always doing what I call loss leader products. Loss leader products are essentially your conventional fast moving products we are broking in a lot of sense. Maybe mutual fund. They don't really understand other products, they don't focus. But it's in financial services, it's a very 80-20 rule. 80% of profits, business really brings in 20% of profitability, and 20% of product brings in 80% of profitability. So this is a very interesting analysis, and that's what I think your value-added teams can help.
Right. So because when we initially started, we were completely on broking, but now the whole wealth management suite is well enthralled into the whole ecosystem. So people can look at Motilal Oswal come a complete suite of financial products across different spectrums. So that is how we want to position ourselves going forward.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So having said that, you know that your franchisees work digitally and you're promoting E2E and hopefully C2E in future. So how does this really work out in terms of, you know, is there any geographical area that you assign to them, or they're free to, you know, make their own relationships nationwide?
Frankly, there's no geographical location as such which we have restricted, because today is the digital world. Customers can connect anybody to from anywhere. But what we try to see is that we don't give multiple franchisees in the same location. So we try to keep a distance of minimum 2 to 3 kilometers between 2 franchisees, so that there's no internal competition happening at the same location with multiple franchisees in the same building or next to each other. So we try to keep a minimum distance so that he has got his own local presence there. But at the same time, with the digital world today, he can acquire customers from anywhere. So today, if he's sitting in Delhi and he has got a connect in Mumbai, he can get that account opened sitting in Delhi. There is no physical requirement of that customer register under him sitting in Delhi. And everything is available digitally, right? He can trade digitally, he can talk to him. So everything is available on a digital space. So that way, there's no geographical restriction for which customers to enroll, but from ensuring that there is no competition from one franchisee competing with the other franchisee in the same location, we try to keep a minimum distance between 2 franchisees.
Very important. And how do you really, in franchising, where one of the worries which brand owners have, and this is which is what we call the triple C, which means how do you bring controls that the franchisee is working only with you and not trading outside and this and that. And this is a problem we all know in financial services. Sometimes we have adventurous franchisees. You know, adventurous franchisees are people who would always try to do something. It makes sense, it doesn't make sense, but it's always tempted to do something outside. Second is compliances, because this is a very high compliant market now. You know, any kind of advice you give to end user, it can take you in a wrong, and we are living in a digital world. Any single thing can create a much bigger problems. And third is consumer connect. End of the day, as a customer, I come to Motilal Oswal. I don't come to a franchisee. How do I relate to a relationship with this Motilal Oswal? Because I am trusting Motilal Oswal. How that reflection is passed through with the franchisee. So controls, compliances, and consumer connect. What is happening at your end on these places, and how do you institute in your company?
Sorry, Gaurav, I did not get your last part. I got about the trading and the compliance, that trading outside and compliance. Was the third part?
Consumer connect.
Okay.
Because as a consumer, I am going to Motilal Oswal. I don't know even if somebody is in between or a franchisee, and my relationship is directly with Motilal Oswal. So how do company maintain that relationship with the customer?
Perfect. So coming to how you ensure that he's only doing business with us, surely there is a kind of a agreement with him. That is one, which is the paperwork. Second is that we feel that if we are able to give them the right service and give him the right kind of products, there is no reason why he should go out and do business with somebody else with the brand which we are carrying. So that is the second part. But also we have got audit mechanism in place where we have people visiting the offices to check what is happening there. And even through technology, we are able to control a lot of things of how the clients are registered with us, are only doing business with us through recordings, and all that is put in place. So we have those things in order, but still there can be, say, 5% privilege here and there. We can't help it, but I think that the bigger picture is that the pie is much, much bigger. And if we are doing the right things, we should be able to get the best of the business with us from a business perspective. But from a compliance angle, surely this industry is very, very compliant, and we have to be very much controlling on all the aspects from a customer perspective, that there is no mis-selling, there is no unauthorized trading happening in his account. So all those things with a centralized communication to the customer of whatever is done in his account. So even there's a trade happening, the communication goes centrally to the customer. Any changes head office to the customer. So if there is any mismatch, the customer can come back to us immediately. Plus, there is compulsory recording in place, and there is kind of test audits happening, talking to customers, asking customers whether he has put this trade, whether he's happy with the service, and all kinds of indirect ways of also ensuring that the business is done in a compliant way. So that is there. And from a customer connect perspective, I think what happens is that the client gets the communication from Motilal Oswal. All the communications are centrally sent. So to that extent, the customer knows that he is a customer of Motilal Oswal. But from a local end, the franchisee has got control that he can see the customer's business at his end. So when he goes to meet a customer, the franchisee can, at his end, show him his complete portfolio, show him his complete business, what he has done, help him in restructuring his portfolios. So all that kind of connect can be done locally by the franchisee. So the relationship becomes stronger locally, whereas the communication is happening centrally with the Motilal Oswal brand. So it is a two-way thing where the customer feels the loyalty of the franchisee and the communication from the brand.
Very interesting.
Yeah, interesting. So I think that way it somewhere helps the consumers as well as the franchisees to stay intact.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Great. So a bit off from the business, I come to understand that you've got a great taste of Indian traditional food, and you've got a big sweet tooth. How are you managing during these 100 days about that craving of yours?
actually, that has been the only negative side. Sitting at home, you keep binge eating. That is the worst part of it. So I try to spend some time walking and in the morning. So that is good. Actually I get some time, extra time, because in Mumbai, in a city like Mumbai, you spend traveling 2-3 hours a day. So that is saved. So that is helping in keeping myself fit. Although I would love to be much more fitter, but that is always that craving keeps. It's always a fight between the good and the evil, right? So we keep doing the good things, and then finally, when you see a street, you come.
I think we lost Ajay's.
So
That's very. I think there is a fun of staying at home, and that fun comes with some kind of indulgence, and that's not bad.
absolutely.
That's not bad, and that should
Right.
be. We should all have a indulgence on that. So Ajay, it was a great talking to you, and every time I've met you, and I think your contribution in this industry and contribution to building an enterprise which you've built and successfully manage relationships with franchisee. There are very few professionals I would know who can match your shoes and the work you've done. So you keep doing a great work, which you always done, and we are absolute delight to have you on this webinar.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you, Ashita, and surely a great service by Franchisee India for all these years. I think it's more than 20 years now, and surely this model has been growing in a big way with a lot of support from all of you all in building this culture across the country and helping the whole model and helping entrepreneurs to build a franchisee network in different business models. And surely we would like to be associated with you all in any way in helping this franchisee culture and making more and more entrepreneurs build their own businesses.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, for being with us. And, I thoroughly enjoyed my conversation with you and, all the pointers. I'm sure it would help a lot of people out there, in understanding that they can become one of your partners or overall understanding on franchising and best practices. I think you're one of the, companies in franchising across. For the attendees, there are certain links that we have on the screen currently. You can follow them. And we would be soon putting up, this particular video on YouTube that you can share with your friends and your colleagues as well. And thank you so much for being with us. And we'll see you next week, same time on Wednesday.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.